Hey friends, KFD. Check it out. Car Week coverage starts now. I'm sitting here at my apartment in Gilbert, Arizona, Saturday morning, like 10 o'clock. We are going to head out to Signal Hill to Race Car Dad, aka Carrie, Eisenlohr Racing Products. We have another round of the Monterey Historics at Laguna Seca. And you know what? Just for all you cool cats on YouTube, I'm going to try and document as much of it as possible. I always put Instagram stories on Kelly's cars and the original KFD account. I always have a lot of fun stuff, and you always see a lot of really neat stuff. So tag along with me. We're jumping the Challenger. We're gonna head west. We're gonna cruise out there today, and then tomorrow we're gonna load the car transporter, and then from there we are heading out to Laguna Seca up there in Monterey in the Bay Area for a whole week of wild and wacky, wonderful automotive and race car shenanigans. Stay tuned. All right, first unofficial stop. So what I'm doing now, I'm just gonna top the car off real quick. I was gonna go gas up over at the gas stations on the reservation because it's really cheap. But $4.59, that's Arizona prices. Wait until we get up to the Bay Area, go wash the windshield, and we'll get back here on the road soon. Okay, so while we're at it, let's do a quick old school USDM Hunter find for the day. So anyway, like I say, I stopped here at the gas station, the gas at the Challenger, put 3 gallons in it. I walked out, and we saw this Isuzu Trooper right here. And this thing was also co-branded with the Mitsubishi Montero and the Pajero. This guy just picked this thing up not too long ago from Southern California. That's where all the old J10 is. He's about to go head down right now to Tucson, and this thing is factory AC delete. So let's have an F in the chat or a quick prayer for him. Been there, done that. Remember those days with my Celica where I didn't have AC. And that's why I drive bumperless garbage like this. But there you go, way rad. Make sure you wiggle that shift knob like 20 times. Okay, common problem there, so I've got to deal with that. I need to really get some double-sided tape for that dash mat, because what happens, it gets above the photoreceptor there, and then in the middle of the day, when I'm trying to change or deal with settings here on the instrument panel, there you go, finally pops up. Okay, so that's our average right now. We'll do fuel economy. Let's do trip info. I put 41 miles on it, and we got 3 gallons at 41 miles, so yeah, this thing, that's just me driving around like a butthole in the cities. So anyway, all right, the trip is at 0. We're here in Chandler, Gilbert. We're gonna head to Signal Hill. Let's go. Typically I do this drive at night because right now it's 104. We're running about 1,742 knots across the ground, about 80,000 feet, and from the outskirts of Buckeye to just about the Coachella Valley looks just like this. So traffic isn't that bad. I'm not complaining about that, but like I say, it's a balmy 104 outside. Thank God for cruise control and air conditioning. Let's head to the shop. That right there is a good Prius driver. He was in the left lane, he saw me coming and moved over. Thank you, Mr. Prius driver. Please be a PSA to all of the Prius drivers that you do not belong in the left lane at all. We are going to tell him thank you. 1, 2, 3. And no, I am not doing 1,742 knots across the ground. Y'all didn't see that. Okay, before I hit the California state line, I always stop here in Ehrenberg, Arizona to top off on fuel. It's like $3.69 a gallon, something like that. But the other important thing, the Flying J Pizza. Now, the big issue we're having right now is, I don't know if you guys can see too well right there, but there's an accident right there at the California Agriculture Inspection Station. So traffic right now is moving super slow westbound. So it was a good time to stop anyway. So let's get going. Here we go, 426 miles from when I left this morning here at the Hermosa house.
Chad's over here welding on the GTU car. We're getting it ready, getting tires out, loaded up here. Got one of the trailers here getting loaded, working over here to the semi, getting it cleaned up so we can load that. And if I can get over here quick enough to see, you can't even see Kelly right now. He's under here fixing the slide out on the trailer. and he's so far under there we can't find him. Are you alive, Kelly? Yeah. There we go, he's alive.
Dude, that thing sounds so bananas. Hey friends, good morning. So after what I can describe as a grueling, insanely long day yesterday, Sunday, to load the cars, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. After I got done at the shop there at Carrie's at like 1 o'clock last night, I came home to the Hermosa house. I'm still here in Hermosa Beach right now. Got a little bit of sleep, got a shower, got to change my clothes, did a little bit of laundry, and now 8 o'clock in the morning, we're heading up to the Bay Area. In fact, I'm going to go up to Sunnyvale for work to drop something off, and then I think what I'm going to do is take the 101 the entire way up, because I just hate going through Central California in the 5. It's such a boring drive. But here we go, 8:20, and we're having to deal with that Monday morning traffic. Yay me. I don't know if you guys can see that barbecued 997. Look at that. I think that was a BMW at one point, but you can see. And again, I know you shouldn't be filming and driving, but this is an absolute testament to just the sheer destruction here through Malibu after the fires. I decided to take the coast route today just because I hate driving through the 5. It's so boring and it's hot. So cutting through to avoid some of that Los Angeles traffic. Now I think Moon Shadows Tavern was up here, but it's just insane to see the amount of buildings that, again, unfortunately, I believe this is Moon Shadows right here, it looks like. But it's just sad to see that the sheer incompetence of the bureaucracy up here in California. I mean, we're talking about Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, that sort of stuff, and it's really heartbreaking to see that there are people that have lived here for years and years and years and years. And well, I'm not exactly gonna cry too much, but at the same time, like, these people made smart decisions in lives and absolutely worked hard to live here, and then all of a sudden to see it just taken away by fire, and then to add insult to injury, mired in red tape. And now we're seeing that some foreign investor is buying up all this property, and what's not being bought up by the foreign investors being rezoned to low-income housing. So, I mean, it's nice to see the ocean. That part I'll admit, but again, people are just saying it's just easier for us to sell than it is to deal with California. So, real heartbreaker. Dukes is still there, but look at all that. And you can see the scorching on the palm trees, which to me is just absolutely wild. Something I've been wondering about, though, is did this thing make it out of the fire? Now, I have seen this, I think it's like a 77 or 78 K10. And that thing has been here for years, and that survived the fires. Still making our way up the coast, but it is so weird and so foreign to me. And I used to live here. This used to be part of my old hometown. I'm kind of north of Ventura right now, but look at the fog. The fact that right now it's 66 degrees. When I left Phoenix, it was like, what, 108? Something like that. But nice cruise up the 101. Let's get this trip going. I will say, driving from my work in Sunnyvale, I took the 17 down to Santa Cruz. I'm taking the 1 back down to the track. The past 30 miles has been really blissful, going through the canyons. Don't have a lot of those out in Phoenix, so it was nice just kind of to have the car in a lower gear. I sat here with one arm hanging out the window, just kind of doing my thing, cruising through. A little bit faster than the speed limit. We won't talk about that, but it definitely made dealing with all the traffic around the Bay Area and dealing with the insane traffic we saw today because a lane was closed for no reason in San Luis Obispo, made it worth it. Balmy 73 degrees. I need to put my hoodie on. This is really fantastic. It's a beautiful drive, even if I'm not a fan of the state. First race car I've seen so far. It's like I know there's gonna be a lot of really cool IROC, like Trans Ams like that one. They're gonna be here. Really rad. The other vehicle that I've seen on the way up here is normally we come up on Tuesday. That's when you see stuff. But I did see Rich on our team. I think I've told you guys that already. Pulling one of our other friends' cars in an enclosed trailer. So I know it was him. That's the only thing I've seen. That's about it. That IROC Trans Am was really cool. So this is day one, or actually this is before day one. This is camp setup day. We've got Carrie, that's Carl's 73. We got our stuff right there. Just a flurry of activity right now, just getting camp set up. Something else I'm really surprised about is, so yesterday when I was driving down PCH and I saw that Firebird Trans Am, didn't realize that it was Helio Castronova's, his old car. So this year we've got a lot of these heritage, kind of the Trans Am, SECA Trans Am, and IROC, actually the IROC cars up here, which is pretty cool. We're going to call this day one. We have practice today, qualifying tomorrow, then the 2 races Friday and Saturday. But it's weird, especially used to being in Phoenix now, seeing fog in the morning, and the fact that I'm wearing a hoodie right, this is strange. And it's kind of weird too. You think about this Colony Park station wagon that used to be regular traffic. Now that car is sold. It's actually kind of cool. All right. But first, coffee. Getting closer to getting the cars ready. So Rich and I got the GTU good to go. Budweiser's up next. We got Casey over here. Carl and Carrie. Check this out. In my mind's eye, when I always think of a Bugatti, I don't think of Chiron or Veyron. I think of one of these. And I'm a little rusty. Someone out there on YouTube land, don't tell me exactly what it is. I think this is a Type 25. I can't remember. I should know this, but I don't. I know it's one of the most iconic Bugattis ever. But the one thing I always cracks me up about these French cars is that crazy positive camber these things always have. That is way cool. What a cool car. I'd like to point out these pictures of Carrie's 911 GTU right here, but let's take a look at the nose of that S130 next to it. That's it right here. In fact, a couple of years ago when we were up at Velocity, we were actually able to replicate the photo. That photo right there is all 3 cars. I don't think that those Datsun is here, but at least we know these 2 are. And that is a Type 37A. I'm going to run through my Bugatti. We're getting everybody lined up here. This is going to be the practice session. Casey's with us too. That's his Datsun. You guys just saw all these 935s. Like that. That is rad. Yeah. Cooper, like. If you go. right, it's KFD Old School USDM Hunter Find. For today, we have the number 42 Swede Savage All-American Racers CUDA. And right next to it, we have the Sam Posey Classic Wax number 77 Challenger Trans Am. These cars are both significant in the fact that the A53 AAR Barracuda and Trans Am Challenger exist. You see, the Sports Car Club of America had homologation rules, which at that point I believe was 2 cars per dealership. 989 and 1411 automatics and 4 speeds of the A53 Dodge were built respectively, and I believe the number was 2724 for the AAR A53s. This car was built by Ray Caldwell. It actually was built at Dan Gurney's shop in Costa Mesa. It features an acid-dipped body. That sheet metal was so thin that there was one time after a race here at Laguna Seca in 1970, a tech inspector leaned on the roof of this car and dented it. Well, because Sam Posey was factory backed or had the help of Chrysler, they were able to get on the horn of the Chrysler back in Michigan, who probably got a hold of a dealer principal here in either Salinas or Monterey. And in the middle of the night, they went over to the dealership, cut a roof off of a streetcar, and grafted it on. And I don't know if you can really see the marks here on this thing where the grafting was. You can kind of see up there, but yeah, it's still there. Pretty cool to see that. This one ran a 303.8 D-stroke 340 small block Screamer that was built by Keith Black. Now, I don't remember the exact figures of the engine off the top of my head for the CUDA, but I'm sure it's very similar. The engine compartment, just like the interior compartment, is all finished in gloss gray. Why? So it's easier to see any sort of leaks. Pretty cool to see this thing, but they're both here at Laguna Seca. The highlight of this year is the IROC, the International Race of Champions, and there was racers from all different forms of racing that all basically competed in identically prepped cars. I mean, you would see Mark Martin or Bill Elliott racing someone like Helio Castronovo's, which is that car right there that we saw the other day. AJ Foyt in that looks like a 930 or of some sort. All these different cars. So it's pretty cool. So they're going to be out and about, running around. So we'll see some footage of those things running around. Tony Stewart's Crown Royal Trans Am, which is really cool. And then we got Camaros like that. A lot of neat stuff. I'm hoping. Look at that. Is that a 917 right there? Maybe a 908. I can't tell. I'm a little rusty on those, but I am really hoping to see some dude that I saw him earlier rolling around in a pre-war Indian. And again, there's not one but 2 Bugattis. I think the one I saw earlier I thought was like a 25. The guy's like, oh no, it's a 37A. I don't know. They all look alike to me. MGs, Alphas. The Piranha's really cool. That Piranha is actually Corvair powered. That is so cool. The Phoenix Piranha. We got a Greenwood Corvette sitting over there. So, all sorts of neat stuff. There's a Jag. What's really cool, it's a Jag. What's really cool is, so I think this is an XK 120 right here. This guy drives this thing, so it's pretty baller to see him. He'll go out, he'll compete with it, and then at the end of the day, you see him jump in the car and drive back to the hotel with it. Really rad. So, part of our crew there. Way neat stuff. When you're looking for a short bed truck on Facebook or Marketplace, and this is the only one you find. So. Can we take a second to appreciate the almighty 959? Way cool. We did find a 67 Mercury Cougar, and I think it's a 67 because I don't see any side marker lights or any block offs for it, but that is way, way cool. I totally dig it. The Dan Gurney for President sticker is way cool. And yes, we're doing rolling shots on the BMW. That is awesome. I dig this Daihatsu pit rig too. I'd love to do a K-truck like that. That's a really cool ute. Is that a Holden? Yes, it is. Carrie's buddy Adam just showed up with this thing. 3 Datsun. How cool is that? It's all part of racing. You can see right there, see it's running a little warm.
Yeah, so it's good.
So the timing might have gotten out just a little bit on this thing. So Rich and I sat here and basically did the static timing. Looked a little bit off. So what we did was move the distributor over, got it close to top dead center. Not perfect there. And then reset it. So we're gonna see if that timing is gonna help with this overflowing coolant issue. This was barfing coolant we got here and it's never done that before. Part of the timer and honored process here. Setting toe on the race car. Post day beer. Adam and his guys are working on their Datsun. But the beer is fantastic. The beginning of day 3. Today is going to be qualifying. So Carrie's going to be driving both of these rigs out here today. Right now they're trying to get the trailer unlocked, but full complement of people here. Adam's with us. We've got Carl. We've got Casey in his car. Carrie's got this thing out here. It might get a flat tire. I'm going to have to show off that pretty suspension sometime this week, and I'm pretty sure that is going to be a real deal CSX Cobra. You're not going to see any fiberglass knockoffs running around out here. Way cool. And we also brought the putting wedge for the driving range upstairs, or the putting green. A little bit of time to kill admiring Trans Am row. There's a lot of eye candy here. I mean, a lot. I was actually checking out this 70 Boss 302. Keep in mind, guys, I'm fairly new to Fords in general, and the video won't be out yet. I'll probably release this one first, but stay tuned for my Cougar build that I'm doing. It's a 70 Cougar. And one of the things that really surprised me is the fact that the interior is very similar. I mean, they're the same car essentially, but I didn't realize that the Mustang also had that clock. But look at the console too. That's kind of cool. So that's what my console is supposed to look like. Radio, the whole nine. Yeah, this car's really rad, and I really dig how the inserts on the Magnum 500 road wheels on here are actually silver. I like it. Reminds me of like a pretty girl without makeup on. Then we've got this 67 Cougar right here. And I dig it. Okay, so I'm a little partial now, but this one actually has the original patina, which I love. And you haven't really gotten a chance to kind of scrutinize an earlier Cougar up close in years. You can readily tell the difference just in the interior alone from this one to the Shawnee Bilbo 70 Cougar. So, really, really cool stuff. So if we walk over here, a lot of Fords in here, and again, can't believe I'm sitting here looking at Fords. I never would pay these things any attention, but we got a 69 or 70 right there. I think one's a 70, one's a 69. Go on the other, please. What a beauty. Another neat piece of history right there. The Dan Kearney Mustang. These guys. And I always film these cars or do TikTok, stuff like that. In fact, I shot a YouTube short on this thing yesterday. It's up. But the original Dan Kearney. Hey, calm down up there. Original Dan Kearney Challenger, or I'm sorry, Sam Posey Challenger. That's the Sweet Savage Cuda right there, the sister car to Dan Kearney's car. But these were built at Dan Kearney's shop. You can kind of look up there and almost see where all the cut work was. They actually took this roof off of a streetcar. Can't tell if it's a Liberator or a Mitchell. Way cool. All right. A lot of neat stuff here. I am absolutely digging all of this. I know, I can't stay away. You're absolutely right. Anyway, so that was Richard Goldsmith, and he is the owner of he's got the Decon Monza, and he's also got the Sam Posey Challenger. And he knows I'm a super fan of that car. He saw me yesterday. Hey, I didn't realize you were here. Yeah, of course I'm here. So I'm gonna swing by. I actually got a t-shirt over here at the paddock that has the car. I'm like, well, can't have Sam sign anymore, but I can have you sign it. It's your car. So, but anyway, let's get back to looking. So this right here is the IROC Road. And I did see the Earnhardt. I did see an Earnhardt 3rd gen running around here. But and what's neat about the International Racing Champions is you're going to see a lot of different racers. I mean, Cale Yarborough right there, Al Unser, Tony Stewart, and Helio Castroneves. There's an Earnhardt car right there. Jim Hornish and AJ Foyt, Andretti. So what they would do is they would take all different, not just NASCAR, but we're talking F1, Indy, all these guys. Lauda, right there. The Lauda Camaro. And honestly, it's just one of those things where they would have everyone in identically prepped cars. And again, a lot of times they did run these Dodge Avengers. They had the Dodge Daytonas, 3rd gens, 2nd gens, and that was the whole idea. Is everybody ran identical cars, so it was a true testament there of skill. So really neat to see that. Hours are always cool. Look at this thing. You see the 3 portholes, a nod to its Buick power plant. And look at these. Look at those strombers. But that is way, way, way cool. Pretty sure that's a nailhead. I could be wrong. Let's walk over here. A couple 356s. We got a Lotus Cortina. But this looks like a 289 or maybe a 260 Cobra. That's not fiberglass, that's a real car right there, CSX chassis. Okay. We are still trying to find that Indian, but we've got a really cool looking, is that a BMW R90 right there? I'm rusty on my BMWs, but way cool. Cafe Racer written all over that thing. No. We're coming right around turn 4 up here. And so this is just kind of the back see obviously the famous bridge over there to get you into the infield and the lake bed area. But look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 Shelby Cobras right there. Is that a Lola? I believe that's a Lola right there. Another Shelby, another Mustang. Here is a Ferrari 365. Now these cars were affectionately known as a 365 Daytona because of their 1-2-3 win in 1970 at Daytona. And what's really fascinating about this is Ferrari, this was actually their interpretation of an American muscle car. A lot of people don't realize that. It has a Colombo V12 and these beautiful, beautiful lines. Absolutely phenomenal car. So, 70Z. That's another Cobra right there. Another BMW. I have to laugh at this transporter. Or a single cab. Extra, extra, extra long bed. Okay. And here's another neat car we're coming up on. So, you know, we think we're the cool kids on the block because we've got our buddy Carl running around with the cool car passing his 73 Carrera RS. He's the only guy out there, right? Nope, wrong. Here's the 73 Carrera RS. What's even wilder about this one, it's right-hand drive. Way cool. So, got a lot of cool stuff coming up over here. So you immediately see that Boss Mustang. There's that pink and, oh no, that's not the 935. We got a pink and white 935 in this paint scheme Kerry was beating up on. All right, I think it's a 962. I could be wrong. Here's a 959 right here. There's a Gunther Works car. So we're gonna have Gunther Works over with us doing some stuff because all the suspension on that thing is from Kerry. So. The Toyota. Wow. Okay. I remember when that Nissan was racing brand new. I was a little guy. And then we got the Mark Donahue Javelin. This thing's way cool. There's that pink and white 935. Of course, a little Porsche Speedster. 356 bathtub. And there's another 959 over there next to that. I think it's a 250 Lusso. This is a Fiat 600 Multiply, and I believe these were one of the ones that were especially built just to haul VIPs and guests around the Fiat factory. I could be wrong on that one though, but a goofy looking little car. So, I think this was the 935 Longtail question mark. It's over there, but look at that headlight setup. Wow. Way cool. Still haven't found that gosh dang pre-war Indian. Maybe we'll see it by this weekend. So if we find it, you might be seeing it here in a few minutes. Something I have to crack up about is the fact that I remember these things as a kid being everywhere. They're just average, ordinary, everyday cars. And that Colony Park station wagon has probably been the only one I've seen in the past like 5 years. And I always see it up here. So it's kind of wild to think that an average, everyday, ordinary car is now cool. So, I mean, what better way to roll around with a pit vehicle than one of those things? Let's go over here and take a look at, there's a Paynos GT right in front of us. Way cool. We've got some more Bugattis. There's a white, I think it's a Type 35 or 37 Alfa running around here, and it's absolute heresy because it is not blue, it's white. That's a Type 59. Okay, listen, I don't claim to know everything, but there you go. Look at that camber. That's just so esoterically French with that insane, just positive camber. So, we got a first-gen Viper right there. A couple couple Buick Regals sitting over here, or at least one Buick Regal. And then got a 3rd Gen Camaro as well as that Mercury Capri. Alfa Romeo, IMSA Camaro. Really cool. You're trying to buy a short bed on Facebook Marketplace, and all you can see are long beds like that. Damn thing's longer than a Tuesday. One of the things I've noticed is the absolute proliferation of really, really rad bikes that are just cruising around the pit area. And I realize that, yes, this is car week, and you see a lot of really cool cars here, but it seems like lately, the neatest attention getters, because again, we just saw 4 Cobras, 2 959s, that sort of stuff. When we see older things, like look at this Suzuki. I can't remember the last time I've seen a 1970 Suzuki, and yet they've got one of these things rolling around as a pit rig. That is pretty cool. I didn't realize they allowed horses on this track either. That dog puts the great in Great Dane. And again, that's Carl's 73 RS. It's funny because I see this thing, see him driving the absolute living snot out of this car, and I am glad for that. So good on you, Carl. And normally Bugattis are blue, but this is absolute heresy to see this thing in white. I don't know how I should feel about that. Can we talk about this 400i 412? Wow, that is fantastic. What a late car too. That is way cool. Talk about done right. What a beauty. Wow. This is a reminder, YouTube, do not gator and YouTube at the same time. And here we are. So, fun fact about the 400i and the 412 Ferraris, they have that same glorious Colombo V12, but they actually utilize a General Motors turbo hydromatic TH400 transmission. So yeah, if you want to drop a Colombo V12 in your square body or your Chevelle, it's easily done. Just go find one of those things. But that one is actually nicely done. I've never seen one that's a pro touring rig like that. What a beauty. That is way cool. Let's appreciate the 1980 square body. It's a Jag. That right there is how you know you're legitimately the coolest cat on the block. Alright, now we are still doing qualifying. As I said before, probably you guys have heard it a couple times. This is not our car. This is a sister car to our car over there. We can always tell because we've got fans on the back and the front, and the A pillar, I'm sorry, the B pillar on their car is black, and ours is actually polished aluminum. But there we go. There's Carrie right there. We're almost getting ready. I think we're about 7 minutes until green flash. But there's our car. Carrie's excited about something. Now he dropped the position, but now he looks like he picked back up. There's a 924 that spun out over here. So go Carrie, go. We got a screw loose, as usual. So Rich and I are walking over to check out the grid over here. This is for the IROC, International Race of Champions. There's supposed to be a lot of big names. Jeff Gordon's supposed to be here. We saw Mark Martin earlier. So a lot of neat stuff here. Dodge Avenger. Gordon's car. Thompson Jr., Kyle Busch, Tony Stewart right there, that's their old car. Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, another Tony Stewart car up here as well. Okay, so this is the end of Thursday, qualifying day, right here. So we're all pretty much eating dinner back here on the picnic tables. Rich and I we're kind of realigning some of the arms in the back of this thing because Carrie's going to know at the back end being all loosey-goosey. I was up there on top for a little bit, playing with the putting range, but we're out all around with friends and eating and just having a grand time. So as I keep on mentioning, some people like going on vacation to some beach destination. For me, it's this right here, along with my racing family, pretty much. Carrie, Rich, Carrie's brother Jay, we got Chad, his dad, the whole group here. So pretty nice. And give you a rough idea here of what the Diatli Camaro looks like. We figured out too, this originally was built out of a circle track chassis, so some of the mounting points, especially like those 3 holes there, are a little bit different. Pretty cool. There we go. Something you'll notice here is that all of these IROC cars are running, and they're actually, what they're doing right now is called putting temperature in the car. And we do that before we want to go for a race. We're not going to take it out on the track that cold, but what that does is you got to think the thermal expansion of metallurgy. An engine is going to perform better. The metal's going to expand, the fluids are going to get circulated, and they're going to be at normal operating temperature. And that's what you honestly want. In drag racing, yes, you want a colder engine, and you want to shut it down as soon as possible. But for a road course, road racing cars for longer duration, you want them warmed up. And that's what these guys are doing here. We're just going to kind of take a walk back here. In fact, I spoke with a gentleman here. His name is Jim, that has this Jaguar. And I was with the guys earlier. I've seen him for years. He'll get his camp set up here, and then at the end of the day, hops in this thing and he'll go right back to the hotel room. But can we also appreciate this early Cobra? I want to say this might be a small block car. I'm sure there's an AC nut out there that can tell me exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure with that egg crate grill like that, it's an earlier 64, 65 car. Could be wrong, but it's just one of, I don't know, 7 Shelby CSX Cobras. This is not a repop or a fiberglass knockoff car. This is the real deal. And these little Cobras, they actually started out as the AC Ace. And there actually is a couple different cars that were derived from this. There's an AC Ace and an AC Greyhound. But Carroll Shelby took the AC Ace dropped in that 260 and had a winning combination. Later they had 289s. I think Herbie Hancock's car was a 260. And then they later on put the 427 in, which is what everybody's about. And then Shelby later actually replicated this formula with the Sunbeam Tiger, which was a Sunbeam Alpine with, again, that small block. And then once Chrysler took over the Roots group, which included Sunbeam, they had kind of an issue with putting a Pentastar on the passenger side fender of the car and it's saying powered by Ford underneath the bonnet, or hood in this case. But yeah, pretty sure this one's a, well, you can see the lack of a hood scoop and doesn't have the wild flares. This is the original small block car. And there we go. So it turns out the pre-war Indian is an e-bike. So we're here for it though. I'm here for it. If there's something I can actively rant about, it's the fact that this stuff, I swear, is Satan's diarrhea. I'm just gonna curse whoever decided that stinky, nasty, disgusting gear oil is a perfect thing to put into a differential. On this episode of Automotive Jackass, we take that full tub of gear oil in the Gator over to the oil drop. Let's see if I don't get covered in gear oil. And we are gonna call that a win. Didn't make a massive mess. Didn't spill anything, and I'm not covered in gear oil. Rich is going over there. I'm gonna go get the yellow car over here so that way carrier's ready to go. He's in 9th place. You guys might get another, like, more footage, but I've got to go and get the yellow car staged already. Picky's about to join the race there. Those GT cars are always out front. It's like it's a doozy. Patrick, come on back there. We're back out here in the yellow car. Kerry's last race actually ended a little bit early because the car spun out oil on the tracks, like black flagged everyone. So Kerry came back in here. So now, thankfully, it's not that mad dash to jump from one car to the other. So, which is good. There it is. Oh, this thing looks so cool. Absolutely fantastic. So it's a really cool looking 70 Mustang wide body right there in that Fox body. So right now, probably due to that accident or that incident on the last race, we've got 2 pace laps probably to go through and see that oil. Right now we're kind of on a momentary delay.
Yeah, because we're
So
at 355 now.
that's what we got going on. We should have been already on the road, but a little bit of a delay. Kerry, don't hit the pace car, please.
Okay, we'll try not.
Try not to. There's Carl.
RSR. And Eisenlohr is in the 8 behind that in yellow. And then Lion behind that in another Porsche 911 car 41, which is a 74 Porsche 911 RSR as well. The beans too. Bob goes, 12? How many have you won? He goes, none. AJ goes, I've been there once and I won. Mic drop. Exclamation point. Yep.
I believe Kerry finished in 10th place, but what's our fail, Chad?
Airlines,
Right there.
right on the Z-axis, man.
Right on the axis. So basically what happens is on the fans, Chad made these like 2 or 3 years ago as a temporary deal, and we just said, heck with it, we're sending it. And we come back in, and I realize there's no fan, but that hub, what bolts onto the wheel, is still there. So now we gotta try and see if we can run with this style, but kind of sticks out too far. That's all part of racing.
Really? You think that?
So this is all part of racing.
There's not a whole lot in front of that. So you can feel this fitting. Maybe it's just weeping out of
No, because it would be a leak all the way through. Start final race time Saturday. See the bridge. Good morning. This is the start of day 2 Saturday. This is our last day of racing here at Laguna Seca. We're going to be running this afternoon. We have to deal with an oil leak that popped up on a return line on the yellow car. Diatley's ready to go. It's just still running a little bit warm, but enjoy this view from the observation deck and the putting green, which no one's used yet. But there we go. So at least this morning it's not foggy. It's just wet, but we are ready for a day of racing. And then It's camp teardown tonight. One of the other issues that we had yesterday, aside from losing a wheel fan, that was just because of the PLA printing on the actual fan hub adapter gave up the ghost. These are the original BBS fans, and this right here is a 3D printed part that Chad made like 2-3 years ago, and it was just kind of a temporary deal. Well, that one yesterday, I think I already filmed and showed you guys, but it cracked right there at just basically at that mold line where the layering line was. Then we come back in here and realize there was a puddle of oil underneath it. Well, that is an oil return line, so it's low pressure. So what we're gonna do is just kind of wrap it up with some towels, zip tie it, and and send it. But Carrie's got to go get that. I think that's an AN16 line, and not a lot of those are on the track. One of the other options we have is we can always cut that and splice that. But this might be one of the original hoses of the car. I'm not sure. But luckily, it's not a pressure return line, because the pressurized lines are up here, and that would have been a bad situation all around for Kerry if he's racing, if he just starts springing leaks and just peeing everywhere. Luckily it didn't. The car shuts off, the thermostat for the oil cooler opened up, or I should say closed back up, and then it started dribbling when we got it here in the pits. So no idea where the other orange fan went, so hopefully someone finds it on the track today, because these BBS fans are not cheap and they're not easy to find. So kind of a heartbreak, but we're still out here racing, so we're going to continue on. We're going to get, these guys are actually running this afternoon, so we've got plenty of time this morning, to get stuff like that line fixed, or at least patched up. The Diatli's ready to go as well right now, so just put gas in them, and we're going to go racing. So here's the reality this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm over here operating the camera. Rich is actually the one doing all the work.
No.
Kelly, get over here.
I'm delegating.
He's delegating.
Yeah. Get your ass over here.
Get your ass over here. Exactly. So basically what's going on is, so Kerry he experienced something kind of wacky back here. So Rich and I did the arms, mostly Rich. We dropped the arms down one notch, and something fascinating is the fact that you guys can see these 4 adjustment points. The other side has 3 adjustment points. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, I wonder if this was set up for a stock car, like a NASCAR, because they'll do that. And turns out, yes, this actually was. I should have said something. I was thinking it, but didn't say anything. But there it is. So we pulled the fans off today too, because again, we lost that fan on this car yesterday. I'm checking out all the fans here, and while we had the Chad mock-up 3D prints that have held for 3 years, we actually had the injected molded ones, and some of them kind of developed cracking because we might have He-Man bear pigged those screws a little bit too much. I'm not claiming that. If we can't blame Kerry, we'll blame the shop cat, Jack Henry. He's always full of mischief around the shop. So anyway, but we're going to run without fans today, trying to find a set of rear tires for this thing, because a couple days ago, Kerry hurt the feelings of some 935s, and we know he can get another second out of this car, so we're going to hopefully do that. So we'll see. So we've got a session here soon, but it's always neat just to see the absolute flurry of excitement here in the pits. John showed up. That's Vashik Pollock Jr., and he's part of the extended crew out here as well. So his father is Vashik Pollock Sr. Now, if you're into Porsches or Ferraris or BMWs, you might recognize the name Max Hoffman. Max Hoffman was the guy on the East Coast. And this is a neat story too. So that is the Impala that Dan Gurney brought over to England and raced it, sold it, and it made its way back here. But Vashik Sr. was the guy that brought BMW and Porsche to the West Coast, and their dealership actually used to be right down the street from the Hermosa house. So, and then we say we got Adam over here, we've got his guys, we've got Casey over here as well. You've seen me point out his Datsun Z, and he's raced with Kerry for years. So he was actually just giving me pointers on how to correctly tighten those screws down. So in case you're wondering what happens if you overfill your fuel tank, leaks out the bottom. If Kerry asks, as Chad pointed out, that is coolant. It's just a coolant leak. We're fine.
Is this the camera we're running?
We are absolutely going to do that. Doing it for Dale, brother. Hey friends, KFT. I'm out here cruising with Vasek, and we happen to notice the most awesome pit rig ever, a Crocker. I saw this thing a couple years ago, was wondering if it's here, and there it is. I think we're gonna try and see if we can get Vasek. What's that?
Which are you taking picture of?
Oh, this motorcycle right here.
On the bike.
You think you'd ride a Vasek?
I have ridden many years ago, but not anymore.
Okay, well, someone's trying to get him in the Crocker, but for those of you playing at home, the Crocker was essentially the Tucker of motorcycles. It's built in Venice Beach. Actually, I think now it's Marina del Rey, but that is a really neat site. Race day tradition right here, the tacos. Gotta have those. So, what can you tell us about that? So that's the one. So the previous generation was the one that had the gull wing doors, right?
I don't remember.
Okay.
That the street car had a golden doors. So
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I think that one does. Look, you can see how they cut it into the roof.
Maybe it does. Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Well, let's go over there and take a look at that. We'll take a look at that Gordon Murray.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's funny is I honestly didn't even know, that the Gordon Murray was a thing, and I saw the Hot Wheels, and I'm like, what the heck, a Gordon Murray? Like I heard of a Gordon Klebel, but never a Gordon Murray. And then I'm like, oh wait, he was the guy from McLaren. So. Okay.
Here's the back. It would be interesting to see the engine. It's a 12-cylinder Cosworth engine that revs at 12,000 RPM.
Jesus, you said a 12-cylinder Cosworth? Wow. Okay. So we're just gonna scoot up here. Let's leave it right there. You wanna walk up to it? You want me to get you in closer? We can. So. Okay. So for those of you playing at home, that's Vasek Pollock Jr. He's our special guest today, and I've got some downtime, and so he's a good friend of Carrie's. So we decided to throw him in the gator, and we're gonna go along here for a little bit of a commentary from Vasek. But so this is that Gordon Murray. I think on the Instagram I called it a Gordon Morris, but it's car overload. This is a Ruth. So like you think of the Ruth Yellowbird, one of these things, except it's just not yellow. So, okay. Pre-series prototype Gordon Murray. Let's go over here. So
Yeah, absolutely. Already?
no.
No, it's funny. It's blue and it's
There we go, right there. Wow, look at that. Look at all the carbon fiber.
experimental one.
GMA V12 Cosworth. Let's go over here. Let's go follow Vasek.
Yeah.
So much smaller it
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh my god. It's just incredible.
I think that's the biggest difference to the F1. It's how low the engine is. Just,
Right.
It was also a smaller capacity, 319.
Brilliant car.
It's good.
Totally brilliant.
I love it. I drove it down PCH this morning.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, look at the packaging. It's an absolute.
Are you going to be driving it somewhere else?
No, Henry's taking it home today.
Oh, I see.
Good message, huh?
Yeah, it was just like the old one. You know, and I had a plug-in for the computer at McLaren, and I had also a charger. You know, because not very many people were going to drive it, and so it was good fun. I was very touched.
Especially one
Yeah, of course.
That center steering position is pretty cool.
Hang on, the boost controller, the human boost controller. The boost controller. Hi, Philip Kaduri. Very nice to meet you. You have amazing car.
The ball in the front.
Really, that is another really cool rig right there. We got the Ducati Sport 900. What a beauty! Wow. So Vasek, there's that 935. What's the Ruby Tuesday car? Is that a 962? I see Bill Oberlin's name on it.
No, I think this was a a Lola that they made into. I don't remember that.
Okay.
It could also be. It could also be, you know, something that was made, but don't remember this car.
Okay. We'll go check some other stuff out. That Lola right there?
E70 Lola.
Oh, that's cool. Now what is that? That looks kind of like a Cheetah. What is that thing?
I think this was. I can't remember.
I don't know.
You will have to ask the guy. I just don't remember.
Right.
But it was a special car. It won everything.
Right. Are these guys getting loaded up? He's putting temperature in the... Okay. There's that white Bugatti. That seems almost heresy that that car is white and not blue. No, the Decon Monza. That's pretty neat. Oh, my Lanza. Okay.
Ferrari.
Yeah, that looks amazing. Wow. That's got a...
No, not the. That was Alfa. This is a 312 Ferrari.
Does that have a...
cylinder flat?
It's a flat 12, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's cool. Okay. It's not officially race week until you've had the Wagyu beef tacos. This has been a tradition for us over here. So we're going to thank Adam and his guys for that. Definitely a win. Hell yeah. Trans Am class. So Richard's out here running in the big bad green classic wax 77 Challenger. I just feel the hair growing on my chest as I listen to the exhaust note of these big, burly American V8s. Pretty amazing. So I don't exactly have a good view of the corkscrew, but the exit is basically right up there, kind of at the top of the screen where you guys are looking. I believe this is turn 11, right? But this is the exit. That's the exit chute. But turn 11 is right there. You got that final turn. I think it's turn 12. Can't remember off the top of my head, but there you go. So there's that awesome Ducati 900 right down there. So that's the one that me and Fawcett were oogling earlier. I see that the Savage Swede crew though. Silver Ghost GTOs in there. Absolutely glorious. So we just watched. Oh, it's a Dan Gurney. That's a Dan Gurney Mustang. That's cool. Smoky Unit Camaro right there. That's Dan Camaro's down. There's a sweet Savage scoot up. George Fulmer. One little Mercury Cougar out here. That's awesome. Wasn't too interested in putting some golf balls. Let's come out here and take a look at this Art Deco elegance, the Black Cat. Wow. Of course, it's something that's got Rob Ida's name on it. Why am I not surprised? Amazing. All right, this is like the, this is the last race for us. This is the end of the weekend right here.
Got a shot to win the class.
Well, that's true. Let's see if he does it.
Yeah.
We know that he can hurt a couple 935's feelings. He's done it before. Yeah. Didn't get the stickers on, but that's all right. We'll see what happens.
It's only got 10 cycles on the tires. They're good and broke in.
Right. Yeah. We've got the pace car over here. I think we've got 2 pace laps. But oh, that Nikon Mazda. Carrie's actually pretty. I mean, all right, so Carrie's currently in 8th place, but he's got some serious competition. Green boys and decon, a couple of 935. There he is, right there. So we've got the Moby Dick 935 and that Greenwood Corvette. There's a Nikon Mazda 935, 935. Another 935, an RSR, and then there's Carrie. Definitely the top doing pretty good for what he's got. I mean, there's another 935 right there, the Andial 935, that should, by all intents and purposes, absolutely stomp the crap out of that Corvette, or out of his car, and he's still doing pretty good. So, he might actually be up in position. He might be 7 or 8 now. Go, Casey, go! So right now in his class, RSR is the only thing in front of him right now. He's second in class. Kerry is still chasing down that silver car. So it's been a few hours since we finished that race. That was the last race, and guess what we got going on? Camp teardown. It's been amazing. The tent went down in like half hour, and normally that is a whole ordeal. So luckily we had a bunch of guys here to help us out. It's been fantastic. Let's get the flybridge down. Let's get this stuff packed up. Let's get these cars in here. So it's about 7 o'clock on Saturday, and I am honestly blown away at how fast camp teardown happened. You know, a lot of hands make light work, and this is definitely an example of that. This time last year, we were out here in the rain. It was like 3 or 4 of us, and we were out here till like 11 p.m. 7 o'clock at night last year, our tent was still up, and it came down in probably 20 minutes. And I think me and Rich and Ethan and Carrie, I think it took us like 5 hours to get everything down. And here it is. All we have is this little bit of stuff right here, the cars, and we're ready to go. Good morning, Sunday morning from the People's Republic of California. F my life. All right, let's put some fuel in this thing and head back down to LA, and then I'm gonna go on to Phoenix tomorrow morning. We'll see if my cousin Kim is over in Pismo Beach. She's got a lot of cool stuff, so stay tuned. All right, Kim, tell me about it.
Oh, okay. It's a 67, the original Alfa Romeo Giulia, Giulia Sprint GTV.
Oh, the Veloce.
It's the top of the line.
Wow.
My dad had bought it in 1980 off the original owner down in the San Fernando Valley.
Right.
And it's entirely original. Well, pretty much.
Is it a 1600?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
50-some thousand miles or something on it.
Oh, wow.
And so it looks like
whoa
crap, but we've tried to keep it running and driving correct. So yeah, it's the classic dual overhead cam Alfa.
Yeah, right. I see.
So anyway, it's of all the cars I've ever had or driven,
yeah,
it's the funnest car to drive, not necessarily the fastest or the most extreme handling or road holding. It just has a personality to it that even I used to have a 2000 Spider that it just didn't have the personality that this is anyway. So my dad sort of gave it to me, and the problem is he let it sit out in his backyard up here in Grover Beach for about 12 or 13 years.
Right.
So it sort of did a number on it. But Kirk and I we got it running again, and new tires, completely correct Pirelli.
I saw those.
And I just redid the brake system when we pulled it out of my dad's garage, out of my dad's backyard there in the weeds and the mud. One of the rear brake lines the hard lines was just rusted. And I got to get on that anyway. But we just one thing, there were more important things, and got it going anyway. So I had it sort of stored down at my mom's garage, and was just driving it one day, and suddenly the pedal went to the floor. Luckily, I knew the issue, so I drove it easily and
use lower gears
where I knew where. So when something like that happened, anyway, so all right, well, I guess then that was about 10 years after we pulled it out. So all right, I've gotten I've gone as long as I possibly can on on the brakes. So anyway, I just took everything out, new booster, hard lines in the back and the front, and the well, everything basically. Rebuilt the calipers and new discs, and
it's got this glorious patina too.
Anyway, yeah, a little too much patina.
Yeah, there's no such thing as too much.
What are you gonna do?
Right. Wow.
I'm just more.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
with this car, I've just been more interested and more devoted to keeping it driving and running properly. Hired out, and I have all this stuff too. I just have to put it back.
Oh yeah. No, that's just that's just part. That's just part of it.
Finding the correct. This is the interior is weird. It had like 5 different shades of gray or black.
Yeah.
In it, so this back here, what they call anthracite. It's not black.
It's
not gray.
It's like that real
So
right.
There's one. I found one place in Texas that supposedly has that correct. And also the gear lever boot is supposed to be that same thing. So
Interesting.
anyway, I just need to pull the trigger and order it and get some other stuff. But,
well, that's been kind of my issue. Have you seen that? We've seen that Mercury. That Mercury I've been working on lately. So that I was.
Cougar, right?
Yes. So it's funny because your mom she'll always send me stuff like anytime. I remember she would send me like registration and paperwork and old keys and stuff for that car because she always thought.
Is that one her?
No. She had that. Okay. Remember that she had that. It was like in the 80s that her and Uncle Herb had.
Yeah.
And
she had when she was married to Des there, briefly.
Yeah.
They had probably a 70-something Mercury Cougar XR7.
Yeah.
It was probably the very first model. I don't know. It's too. I can't remember
because
now.
I know
they had that for a long time.
But they had when they had my Celica. Her and Uncle Herbie, when they had the my Celica. They had that.
Like
they had that
6 or something. Yeah, sort of a.
Reddish-brown. I remember that thing with the. I remember it had Uncle Herbie's Pearl Harbor license, Pearl Harbor Survivor plate on it. But you have the XR7. I'm like, no, you still have the Cougar? I'm like, no, Aunt Margie. I've got the Celica. But
they're really good people and glad. But the first 500 Metropolitans had that engine. But they still had everything I needed. Anyway, so I yanked I knew it had 1 weak cylinder.
Just that low compression.
So so I pulled the head off, and sure enough, the exhaust valve was.
So driving up here last week, the 101 was completely to an absolute crawl, and I happened to try and zip down this road to bypass traffic. Did I see that 62 Dodge sitting up there? No, I did not. As I'm sitting here gridlocked down this little side street, I happened to see a set of Mopar Magnum 500 wheels sitting up here. So I came in and talked to the guy and asked him about it, and he said he'd sell me them. So let's go and talk to him real quick. I hope he's here. The garage door is open. There was an early Hemi sitting over here. Those are those Magnum 500 wheels. There's that Dodge Hemi. A lot of really rad stuff. Normally on my way down from Car Week, I love taking the one all the way until it meets up at Morro Bay with the 101 as much as possible. But because of a landslide, it was easier to take the 101. And I do appreciate going through the Central Coast, having lived there before. But this go around, after visiting Cousin Kim and seeing his car collection and the stuff he's working on there in Pismo, we turned back around, headed north, and I went up to San Luis Obispo, where I picked up those wheels that I saw when I was stuck in traffic. And then from there, headed farther north and decided to take the 58. I've got some friends in Bakersfield, so we're going to head out and see them. But one of the things I must say is I completely forgot just what a fun drive this is. Now, while it might not be as technical as taking PCH through Big Sur, I can certainly appreciate a 2-lane ribbon bisecting the California countryside with no services for the next 80 miles, no cell service, and really no other drivers on the road. Just me and the Challenger enjoying the California countryside. And it's very reminiscent because, I mean, much of the thoroughfares across the country was exactly like this. Don't think you guys can see it too well, but if you look there in the mirror, you see that truck pulling trailer. LA Car Guy Racing of our group that was there under the tent with us. I can't remember their names, but they had that red. There's a red car that was next to Carl's red car, 993. That was their car. So haven't seen Rich. I think Rich took the 58 all the way over. Carrie and Chad, we're not going to see those guys. So I'm continuing down. I'm on the 5 right now. I'm by Castaic, so it's kind of cool to see some car friends. I've been seeing a few guys with trailers that are coming back, kind of filtering down. But for the most part, we're just going to fight some LA traffic, get home to the Hermosa house tonight, and then jam on the morning back home to Arizona, and we're going to put this 2025 car week in the books. Sunday afternoon, and I'm reminded why I don't live in this place anymore. We are going through Abbott Kinney Hill, aka the West Side, and this stretch of the 405 is always bumper to bumper, regardless of what time of day, month, year it is. We're always just going to crawl through here all the way down to just about LAX. I hate it here. Can I go back to Arizona, please? Hey friends, so Monday morning, I'm actually out by Palm Springs right now, heading back home to reality and leaving the safety and security of the free kingdom. But one thing I want to talk about though, well, aside from the whole week in general, but if you guys have a modern Dodge Challenger, let me tell you, this car has been the most capable pickup truck I've ever owned. You can see right there, hope you guys can see it, there is a bumper for a it's like a 1966, mid-60s Chevy C60. So I went up to, on my way out, met up with my friend Patrick, and I've been wheeling, dealing stuff with him for years. Cousin Rick had a truck. I am that guy that had a motorcycle and put a 62 to 66 Chevy Fender between my back and the backpack and had like a giant spoiler and rode that thing up from Imperial Beach or Chula Vista all the way up to Fountain Valley when Rick and I were both out in Southern California. But so I'm always about doing nutball goofy stuff. So right now I've got my payload, including this bumper, those 4 road wheels that I picked up. I'm going to go drop them off hopefully at the blasters tomorrow to get them powder coated. And then I inherited a really nice drill press that was my great-grandfather's. And so my goofball father, Kenny Bob, all week last week, while I was up at the track, he was taking this thing apart and restoring it. So it's going to be the jewel of my workbench. But yes, I would definitely say maybe you shouldn't abuse a Challenger like I do, but just take solace in knowing that these cars are very capable and hauling a lot of stuff. As we continue on, we are cruising along here. It's at 1,742 knots across the ground at roughly 80,000 feet. Aspen 21 is now about to depart Palm Springs airspace, hit Indio, and back home to Phoenix this afternoon. 855.1 miles, and we are back. It's now back to reality for us. Going back to work, and I've got to work on the Cougar. But if you stayed around this long, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. This has been an absolute amazing week. I can't say enough about how everyone else that helped out here. We had Nicole Johnson and her husband, Frank, from Nicole Johnson Off-Road. The LA Car Guys racing team. Squirrely Frank over at 911 Design. And like I say, Rich and Carrie, Johnny Johnson as well, was a big help. The guy that originally built the yellow car. And without those guys, the weekend would have been a bigger pain than it actually was. And you guys missed hanging out with Randy Post. He was out with us, that Randy from Roadkill. So got to talk with him. He can't wait to see my Cougar up and running. And luckily for you guys, that's going to be an upcoming episode of Kelly's Cars. I'm finishing up right now. But until then, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the flip side.